message to Democrats who are out there pretending to be outraged about the long list of crap that this administration is cutting, federal waste and funding, like $2 million for sex changes in Guatemala, $6 million to fund tourism in Egypt, $20 million on a new Sesame Street show in Iraq, $4.5 million to combat disinformation in Kazakhstan. I could go on, and I'm happy to provide this list to every single one of you. Democrats are outraged that the American people want to be, they want their taxpayers going to good uses, not stuff like this.
Well, we can add some more to the list. $43 million on a gas station in Afghanistan that had no customers. Still less, though, than what Biden paid for a charging station here. $1.5 million to promote gays, lesbians, and trans in Jamaica. Jamaican me crazy. $4 million for trans Serbians. $5.5 million for gay rights in Uganda. Over $6 million for men who have sex with men in South Africa. That's just how it was described. $17 million to promote inclusion in Vietnam. It's just probably another way of saying it went to trans. We carpet bombed them and then we paid them to cross-dress. $25 million to promote green transportation in Georgia, not the state, the country. And it's not like we took the money and bought them electric cars. We just paid a shady agency to put up a billboard that says, buy electric cars. $1 million for Arab and Jewish photographers. Are you Jewish? Are you Arab? Do you have cameras? Here's a check. $8 million to teach Sri Lankan journalists how to avoid binary gendered language. Translation, we spent $8 million so that a reporter in Sri Lanka doesn't write he or she. Well, at least nobody died, right? Wrong. $122 million of the USAID money was given to terrorists. The Taliban is taxpayer funded. So is the Wuhan lab, so we're on a roll. The people spending the money can't even tell you why they're spending the money.
USAID awarded $2 million to strengthen trans-led organizations to deliver gender-affirming health care in Guatemala. So to each of you this morning, does this advance the interests of American citizens paying for trannies in Guatemala to the tune of $2 million? Yes or no? Governor?
I have no position.
Of course you don't.
$2 million for sex changes in Guatemala? Despite the blatant waste and corruption, there's a sinister side to all of the gay, lesbian, and trans money we're funneling into other countries. It's subversive. It undermines their traditional culture, their religions, and their governing authority. It divides these countries, it distracts them, and makes it easier for our government to exploit them. David Axelrod told Democrats who are defending this stuff, you're walking into a trap. Rahm Emanuel says you don't have to fight every fight. Wasteful spending isn't the hill I'm going to die on. But trans operas in Colombia are the hill Democrats have chosen to die on. Are they getting kickbacks? We're about to find out. Democrats warn Trump's unelected shadow government is dismantling their unelected shadow government. That's how the Babylon Bee puts it. Democrats have been sending your tax dollars to the World Economic Forum so they can tell us to eat bugs. The George Soros Prosecutor Fund got $26 million of your money to what, open jails? USAID brags about overthrowing governments. They bragged about supporting military coups and color revolutions in the Middle East, Asia, and Ukraine. And we just found out the Biden administration was paying the press. During the last 4 years, Politico received $26 million from the federal government. $8 million just last year. The Biden administration was paying a DC insider publication that happened to never report anything bad about the Biden administration. Well, what did they pay for besides good press? The government says it was for subscriptions to Politico Pro. Well, what's Politico Pro? It's supposed to give you inside scoops or exclusive reporting about the federal government. It's been around since 2010, but all of a sudden in 2021, the Biden administration starts buying hundreds of Politico Pro subscriptions. And a subscription runs anywhere from $10,000 to $75,000 a year. Those are like top tier country club dues. For $75,000, this exclusive reporting must be pretty good, right? Now, no one ever read in Politico Pro that Biden was brain dead. Now, if I'm going to pay 75 grand for journalism, I want to know whose coke was in the White House. Politico Pro isn't even for people in government. It's for lobbyists. You pay 75 grand a year for the name and email address of a regulator at the FDA. So you can email them, wine them and dine them at Cafe Milano, and then grease the regs for Pfizer or Kraft or whoever your client is. You find out when the farm bill's about to pass so you can send your lobbyists into the back room and write the bill. It's not for people in the government. What do people at the Department of Energy need to pay 75 grand for to find out what's going on in the Department of Energy? Mayorkas needs to know what's going on with the border bill. All he has to do is call Chuck Schumer. The phone call's free. This doesn't make any sense. The whole thing is a racket. This was a bailout. Biden's government didn't need this. It's a payoff product. Because when they started paying Politico, they tanked the laptop. They covered up Biden's nap times. The USAID chief, Samantha Power, Politico wrote a puff piece about her, called her a celebrity. Have you ever heard of celebrity Samantha Power? Politico didn't get paid to do journalism. They got paid to stop doing journalism. No, I read Politico. I read it every day. I like it. It's got good reporting in there. But I'm not funneling $26 million of taxpayer money over there in exchange for good coverage. I'm sure a few people at the federal government have Wall Street Journal subscriptions for $59 a year, not $75,000. And if you're trying to save a few dollars, share your password and logins with your staff. You don't get them all $75,000 a year subscriptions. Primetime reached out to Politico and we didn't hear back. The White House says the government paying journalists, that's getting doged.
So upon coming out here to the briefing room, I was made aware of the funding from USAID to media outlets, including Politico, who I know has a seat in this room. And I can confirm that the more than $8 million taxpayer dollars that have gone to essentially subsidizing subscriptions to Politico